Happy New Year, everybody. I'm back, and this time I've got a tag to do. This is called the Book Addiction Tag. I was tagged by John over at Hey Y'all Listen Up. Fantastic channel. Go check him out. I'll leave a link in the downstairs down here. So this consists of 15 questions. So I'm going to start my first video of 2021 is going to be a tag. Who knew, right? So, question number one. What is the longest amount of time you can comfortably go without picking up a book? I've always had, ever since The Shining, because that was the first book I read. I read The Shining back in probably, I think, right before the start of freshman year in high school. I have always been in the middle of a book since then, so it's just kind of cool. I can link the book I'm reading right now all the way back to The Shining. I can't name all the books I've read. They're, most of them are on Goodreads, I think. There's a few that I can't remember reading, or I can't find the title to it. I remember reading, but I just don't know what they were called, so I couldn't add them to the Goodreads count. So that's annoying. But yeah, I've always had a book in my. I've always been in the middle of the book. Number two, how many books do you carry on your person, physical or device, at any one time? Well, I guess you can always say I always have one on me because I have my phone, which also acts as a Kindle. But as for like carrying a physical book, I'll have it when I go to work on my lunch break, so it'll be in my car there. If I'm out and about, go to the grocery store, I don't have one on me, but except for the one on my phone. So, but yeah, usually I try to keep a book in the car when I'm going to work. All right. Number three, do you keep every book you buy, receive, or are you happy to pass them on to make more space? I definitely pass them on, unless they are my favorite books, favorite authors. I'll keep those. Living in a studio apartment and not knowing if I have to, move out at the end of the year or, find another place. The lease expires and I'm going to move. It's books are effing heavy, and it's a pain in the ass to haul them around. So I only usually keep a box of books, usually of my favorites, and then I'll take it to half price books, get some money for another book that I really wanted. But usually, I only keep the best of the best, the ones that I really care about and has a chance to actually be reread, and then my favorite authors. I'll keep those. But yeah, it's hauling around every year. It's just a pain in the ass. And now then, but yeah, get them to Goodwill or something. And hopefully, they're put on a bookshelf that somebody who probably cares a little bit more than I do, just because of the inconvenience of moving every year. Let's see here. How long would you spend in a bookshop on a standard visit? Yeah, 20 to half an hour. It depends how much time I want to kill. Usually if I need somewhere to be, I'll usually stop in a bookstore and just walk around for a little bit just to kill some time. But yeah, usually, maybe the longest is 45 minutes. But yeah. Number five, how much time per day do you actually spend reading? It depends on the day. I read when I'm at work for the lunch hour, so that's at least, 45 minutes when I'm not eating. At night, I try to put in a half an hour before I go to bed. On the days off, there's times, that I've just read just because the book was great. But yeah, usually I try to devote an hour to a half an hour before bed, half an hour to an hour. Number six, where does the task picking up a book appear on your daily to-do list? It's just whenever I get done with a book, I'll pick up the next one. I mean, it's kind of fun to, right now I have a system where I know the next few books I'm going to read. Number 7. How many books do you reckon you own in total? Oh boy. Like I said, I only have a few here, probably around maybe 50 right now. Like probably 25 on my red shelf, and there's probably about 25, 30 on the to be red shelf. Kindle. See, I own a lot of Kindle books because when you read the Kindle books, they're not on your shelf anymore, but you can still download them. So technically, they are yours. Maybe 100 on the Kindle. 8. Approximately, how often do you bring up books in conversations? Not a whole lot, unless I'm. Right now I'm a guy at work is. I lent him Malice from the Faithful and the Fallen. Because he was asking me what's a good fantasy book, and I gave him that one, and so we're talking about that kind of thing. He's also in the middle of, or he's going to probably be starting Wheel of Time here in the next few months, so we'll talk about that most likely. What is the biggest book? Number 9. Yeah, number 9. What is the biggest book, page count, you have finished reading? Oh boy. It's got to. Oh shoot. Well, I think the Stormlight Archives are like 1,200 pages, aren't they? I'm pretty sure I read the first 2 of those. So I read Way of Kings. I read Words of Radiance. The Stand I've read. The Under the Dome I've got over there by Stephen King. It was pretty big. Some of those over 1,000. I think the Stormlight Archives, one of those books was like 1,200 pages. Number 10, is there a book you had to get your hands on against all odds? You researched the bookstores, online diggings, stocked authors, etc. So there was this series called Deathlands by James Axler. It was an old, I think it's still going actually. Basically a post-apocalyptic. I believe it started in like the 80s or early 90s. And I remember it's a series I wanted to start, and the first one was Redemption of Hell. I can't remember the first book's name. Pilgrimage to Hell was the first book, and it's basically a post-apocalyptic series, Mad Max style series. And I remember back when I was looking at this, which is probably about right after college. Pilgrimage to Hell, I remember online it was like $30-something or something like that, and I just didn't want to. That was a lot, like for a guy just getting out of college, not really establishing himself. And I was living in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and just happened to be just looking the Craigslist, and somebody had a shoebox of the first 25 books in that series, and he lived in something with a W. It wasn't Wausau. It was somewhere. It was some like small little town in Wisconsin, which was about 2 hours away. And I emailed him, never got a response back. And then in the dead of winter, I remember because this was like in the summer, I emailed him. Dead of winter, probably in February, I got an email like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I just saw this email. Like, I still have these books. Are you interested?" I said, "Yeah." And he gave me his address because I said, "I'll drive." So I drove 2 hours, dead of winter. It was dark, it was cold. Got to his place, and it definitely got the Texas Chainsaw vibes from this house. Which again, I was dumb. I was out of college. So it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but yeah, I went to this guy's house and He was nice. Yeah, he's nice. I went inside, got the books. Hey, God, I think I got a root beer and just talk to him about this book series. He's a great guy, yeah, it turns out. But thinking back on that, probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. Is just meet a random stranger in a house somewhere in the middle of Wisconsin. Oh boy, yeah. So I got this giant box of Axler books and took it home and read most of them. They're still up in Minnesota. I haven't got them back yet. I still have them, I guess. Um, but they're at a bookshelf somewhere up in Minnesota. But yeah, so that's what I was doing. I got kind of sidetracked there, didn't I? 11. Is there a book you struggled to finish because you refused to DNF? Usually, if I'm not getting, I'll probably quit. The book I gave the longest was a book called Brent Weeks's. Was it the Black Prism? It's that Prism series he's got. It was the first in that. I can't remember what it was called, but I think it was like a 600 something page book, and I got to like 550, and I just quit. I don't know, something pissed me off about it, and yeah, yeah. But usually if I'm not liking the book, I'll stop because there's just too many books out there I want to read. And I don't want to waste time. 12. What are some of your main book goals in 2021? I want to get the Wheel of Time under the belt. I know it's probably going to take more than 2021, but that's what I want to do. And then I got a bunch of fantasy books over there that I want, newer fantasy that I want to get done in 2021. That's kind of it. Number 13. Have you ever had the privilege of converting someone into a reader? No. Uh, no. If they're not, if they, yeah, I mean, yeah, no. 14. Describe what books mean to you in 5 words. Entertaining, fun, epic, fantasy, engrossing. All right. Tag a few people. I've seen this tag a lot around, so I'm not sure who did it. Let's just go. Let's throw out there Paul over at Yankee Southerner. I'll leave his link down there. If you haven't done it, give it a try. Then Jose over at Amazing Worlds, if you got some time. Curious to see what you think, what you are going to say. Anyway, thanks, John. This was fun to start the new year off. So here is to a new year.